close, I whittled them down. Sticking to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Pins on the jacket, the man's abundant. The point of the road was banned and rugged. Hushing, I'm flying on pants in London. The products are not being scared of some judgment. Gotta stay in the cut. Cut you off if you ain't making the cut. Couldn't tell you who the hell is behind us. You start to forget when you stay in the front of it's up. And it's up for grabs, no remorse of who I'm taking it from. Numbers I give on my scoreboard is the only form of us staying in touch, that's staying enough. It's time to receive for all of the favors I've done. Too late for y'all to switch teams, everybody getting big leagues. Product flying out the shelf, what's in store for us? Known to hit a hole in one, look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whatever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down. Sticking to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Shout out to Steve. The boy getting love from the harsh critics. Strauss hit me bi-weekly to tell me keep taking it further. You aren't finished and I gotta listen. Ain't son to believing and see that I'm actually breathing and doing it real time. Love to pull an idea out thin there, act on it and profit in real life. If we not aligned, don't present me a dotted line. Yeah, I'm a QB, but I ain't handing out nothing for someone to monetize. And it goes to the birds too. Can't give it a time if a dollar so caught her eyes. They get X'd out for they had the potential to be my ex. I know all the plays, I'm a seasoned vet. Yeah. Always showing up, known to hit a hole in one. Look at the crowd and shoulder shrug. Shots are limited, I'm scared mango with the golden gun. Posted up, ready for whoever, boy, you know what's up. Time's close, I whittled them down. Sticking to them by sticking around. The gang online, Iwo Jima got one flag and it's sticking the ground. Setting up shop. Think I got the message across. Came for the titles, impressive to watch. We play at the levels of Letterman jocks. Time's close, I whittled them down. Sticking to them by sticking around. The gang all out, Iwo Jima got one flag. Yeah.
Some people love me, and they don't even know I have a hard time loving myself. Some people judge me, and they don't even know I have a hard time judging myself. Life gets ugly, but I got a paintbrush. Mouth stay shut even when I need help. In too deep in the water, Mike Phelps. Swimming lessons, I still got many unanswered questions. Sick of the anger, sick of depression. Wanna be grateful, count your blessings. Just give me my salad, you keep the dressing. Cause I'm cream of the crop, he paid the price, I'm worth a lot. He told me go, why would I stop? Rest on my thoughts, jump off the tire, D'Lo Brown with the frog splash. Leaps of faith, what I call that. If you hit my line for the old me, when I hang up on you, don't call back. I ain't gon' block my blessings, I'd rather block your number. Life taught me so many lessons, Been down bad, never under. That's breath in my lungs. Some people die young, where I come from. Woke up and gave thanks to Father and Son. Filled with the Spirit, I shine like the sun. Ghost in me, but I ain't haunted. Bad vibes, keep them, don't want it. Pride hard to swallow, doggone it. And you were really never my opponent. I ain't fighting evil, man, they hearts black. They wanted my life, told them back. Got an itch for sin, can't scratch that. Keep the truth loaded in the black gap. Just know if I said it, I'm in it, and they gon' take it back. Learn the game brighter than my granddaddy's Cadillac. Young man, old song, imagine that. Ain't in my control, gotta pray, let them handle that. God hit my line, gave me to play. Roger that, game time, alright, you hate like a running back. If you ain't catch everything I said, better run it back. Eating up this beat, break bread, where your sandwich at, y'all? Thought I was done? No, this beat ain't like Kobe, I'm too full. My God, took old mode, he too cold. I'm skating on beats, froze on with the flow.
Hey yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and read it, you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace, you gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted, and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really nah, I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk how you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the ribbon, we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing it. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk how you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy DZ. Oh, baby. We're getting a little bit of a pump here, guys. And if you guys tuned into the live stream last night, we were looking at some very specific things to kick off this little pump. And I know everybody's getting all excited. Oh, my God, Bitcoin's pumping. Are we going back up? And as you guys know from yesterday, we were looking for a little bit of a retracement to the upside. The downfall of that is we weren't really expecting it to be that big of a move, right? Not that it has been that big of a move, but we're not expecting this to be an absolute moonshot, but rather just a small pump to the upside to put in a lower high before continuing back to the downside. So as we've seen this pump come up throughout the day, I am in a long position as well as a short position, which I have been in for quite some time. The short is on an altcoin. I will be showing those trades today, a little bit of a small scalp long on Bitcoin. But I want to talk about what we are seeing happen, what we were looking at on the charts yesterday that was making us anticipate this move. And more specifically, guys, I want to look at Ethereum. This is like the second day in a row that Ethereum is just our... Ethereum's just our subordinate? Is that the right word? I don't know. It just does what we want it to. So I want to take a look at what we were looking at on the charts yesterday. How did we get here? What do we see on the charts that indicated these moves incoming? That way, you guys can see this stuff on the charts and take advantage of these moves before they happen, just like me and the Mafia do in the premium Discord. So before we jump into it, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get is a spin on the wheel of pain and pleasure for you guys. The more spins, the more wins, the more wins, the more free stuff. And if we hit 550 likes on tonight's live stream, I will spin that wheel 10 times right off the bat, and then we'll rack up those likes and add those spins as well. And I'm going to go broke, guys. I'm going to go broke. So, but that's all good. I am happy to go broke for the Mafia here. But before we jump into it, guys, let's go ahead and say what is up to the CandleMafia, and then we'll jump right on into the charts because we do have a lot to look at. I also want to take a little bit of a zoomed out view. I think, guys, for this Sunday sauce this week, or coming up on Sunday, what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. Instead of doing our typical how many X coins to be a millionaire video, those kind of fun speculative moon math videos, with a little bit of a breakdown of what the project is, this week I think I'm going to do something a little bit different and potentially just do a little bit of a Bitcoin deep dive. And I do these from time to time where we kind of zoom out on the charts, take a little bit more of a macro perspective, take a look at where we're at in the cycle and what we could expect, the next few months to look like. Excuse me. I might do one of those videos for this Sunday, but without further ado, let's go ahead and say what's up to the Mafia. I see you guys already going crazy in chat. Let's go ahead and see what is going on with you guys, and then we'll jump right into the charts. Who do we have in here today? First off, shout out to Mrs. Candle's Hand. I see those in chat. Shout out to everybody who's got those memberships. Shout out to Golden for gifting everybody the memberships, as well as Cheeks. Everybody who's been gifting memberships. I don't want to start naming people because I don't want to leave anybody out. You guys know who you are if you're out there supporting the Mafia, sending everybody the memberships. I appreciate you guys endlessly. I just say Golden because he has been a little bit erratic with it. I mean, he's just dumping 50 memberships here, hundreds of memberships every single stream. But shout out to Golden. We love you, bro. Shout out to Dave Digital. Thank you for that super chat. As always, we're happy to have you here, bro. And he said, #birds aren't real. Hopefully you guys liked the thumbnail. If you get it, if you know, you know. That price action, that pump isn't real. If you guys get it, you get it. I'm not going to explain it because I don't want everybody to know how much of a TikTok DJ I am. Anyway, let's see who we got in here. We got Wayne C. What is going on? Shouting out Captain Kirk, the Mafia Mama, the official CandleMafia Mamba. Mamba. She's like a snake. CandleMafia Mama. Shout out to Wayne C. Thank you for being here. Hodl Crypto. What is going on? We got Christopher Robinson. What is going on, man? Jordy, how you doing? Says scalp long love, I think is what he said. It just flew past. But shout out to you, bro. Thank you for being here. Guys, don't forget to shout out and show some love to our mods. Shout out to Crypto Billy, Captain Kirk, D Petty Crypto, Chemistry Bro, Tyler Durden. I think I said D Petty Crypto, Chemistry Bro. I think I said that already. Tyler Durden. I think I said that already. Crypto Billy. I think I said that already. Why can't Crypto Anon, Jesus. Anyway, shout out to the mods, guys. Show them some love in chat. It's like once we got past having like 4 or 5 mods, it gets really hard for me to like name them all without saying one twice and forgetting about another one. But shout out to the mods. You guys know who they are. Show them some love. Shout out to Blockchain Bonehead. What is going on, man? Thank you for being here. Shout out to Huddle Crypto. Hannah King, the official CandleMafia princess in the house. Everybody bow to the CandleMafia princess. Shout out to Hannah King. Thank you for being here. Says best mods in the game. Shout out to Hannah King. Shout out to Darren Does Things. What is going on, bro? Said 4-hour, 15-minute strategy. Frankie, let's get it. Yeah, guys, we got a lot of really good stuff to talk about today because Again, yo, Thesis, shout out to Thesis himself, out here with, you guys know Thesis doesn't believe in the yellow manipulation. X is on Market Cipher A, but he's out here saying hashtag BTC isn't real, and I agree with you, bro. That Bitcoin back there is not real. Anyway, guys, with all that being said, shout out to Wayne Data. Is it data or data, guys? Let me know if it's data or data in the chat. Shout out to Learning with Mrs. Candle's Hand in the chat. L.A. Ray, Melissa, Kyle Owen, Poindexter, Christopher Robinson, and last but certainly not least, we got TRD Farmer in the house. What is going on, guys? Let's, without further ado, go ahead and jump right on into these charts because we got some stuff. We got some stuff going on. Shout out to Wildcat77 said, love you, Frankie. You the man. I appreciate you, bro. But guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the charts here because we are seeing some interesting stuff develop. Now, we're going to start off. I'm not going to start off on the weekly. We already checked in on the weekly yesterday, so I'm not really going to spend too much time there. The big news off the weekly is the fact that the money flow is back in the red. If you guys have watched the show for any length of time here, you will know my general sentiment has been, chug some Aztecian cactus moss water before I jumped on stream today. But guys, you will know that kind of my general sentiment here for Bitcoin has been, kind of looking for a retracement to the upside. We have some very specific targets that we're looking at for that pump to kind of teeter out and roll us back to the downside. But the actual sentiment is we are looking for small retracements to the upside before actually rolling back over and coming lower due to many factors that actually look somewhat bearish for Bitcoin. And I do want to break some of those things down in just a second, but the general sentiment is potential retrace incoming, but we are not looking for that to go to 100K or anything. We are looking for that to just roll over, put in a lower high, and then come down to some lower prices for Bitcoin, as it does look like we have found a significant level of resistance in that $31,800 level right here. So I want to talk about all that today, but that's the general sentiment, guys. Still remains the same, and the reason we're looking for those lower highs to come in, and the reason we're not looking for this to absolutely yeet all the way over these highs of the year is because of the money flow on the higher time frames, right? Money flow crossing over into the red on the weekly. 6-day money flow is kind of coming back up just a little bit, which is interesting, but generally it is coming out. Taking a look at the 5-day. 5-day money flow starting to cross back over into the green, but you guys will remember yesterday we were talking about kind of why we are being very cautious with this, and it's basically because it's the only money flow that's crossing into the green right now on the higher time frames. Everything else looks horrible, right? Money flow crossed over into the red on the 4-day. On the 3-day, we are not only decisively below that zero line in a big red money flow wave, but we are also locally coming out. And then obviously the 6-day is popping up just a little bit, which to be 100% honest with you guys, is actually kind of interesting to me because, and I'm going to talk about kind of the reason why I think this is interesting, but just generally, it doesn't really matter. We could come up pretty high here, right? Like we're still just generally going to, generally still flowing to the downside, right? We're going to really need to see this money flow start to seriously pop to the upside before we really take that into consideration and add that to the bulls list of bullish evidence, right? So turn that TA back off. Continue down the time frames. Again, 4-hour money flow back in the red. Green dot now printing on that 4-day. And again, this is part of why we were expecting a potential retracement to the upside before rolling to the downside, right? Like, I just want to talk about this for a second because I struggle a lot with trying to convey and this really, in my own defense, it's not really it's not really my fault. It's just the markets are hard to understand for a lot of people, especially people who are new to crypto. So I always run into that general kind of problem or general question, I should say, is like, well, I don't get this guy. He's saying he's bullish and he's bearish. And a lot of people, you'll see people say that. They'll be like, this guy's bullish and bearish. He doesn't know what's going on. But the problem is, it's the opposite. The problem is a lot of people who say that are very new to the market and they don't understand how it works. So I like to seriously, that's why I repeat my sentiment so much, because I am always bullish and bearish at the same time. It all depends on the context. Are you saying, are we bearish over the next month? Then you could get a little bit more of a straight answer. But if you just say, are you bullish or bearish right now? It's very hard to say, right? Because I'm very bullish on my scalp long, but I'm actually bearish in the macro. Because, again, the general sentiment is we are looking for a move up, but potentially just to put in a lower high and continue to the downside. So I'm bullish on the move up, but I'm bearish overall, expecting a bigger move down, right? So I just want to make that very clear. That is my sentiment as of right now, unless some very specific things are, unless some very specific levels are broken. And these are some of the levels I want to go over with you guys today. Very specific price points. And I also want to talk about a couple of reasons or a couple of ways that my bearish macro sentiment right now, meaning longer term sentiment based off the higher time frame money flow coming out, the one way that I could flip that sentiment is if something very specific happens, and we do still technically have that in the card. So I want to go over that as well. We have a lot to talk about today. Let's get through it. Let's get through this, right? 4-day green dot. This was another thing that was helping us anticipate a push to the upside. And why, remember, guys, we don't get overly bearish at support. Now, why is that reason? Why is that? Let me go ahead and just hide some of this TA. I'm just going to put this in a folder real quick to make it a little easier. Now, obviously, guys, if you watch the show at any point, since we've been consolidating down here, we have not been getting overly bearish, right? I feel like a lot of people are like, Frankie, why aren't you shorting? Everybody's bearish. And you know what's funny, guys? It's like yesterday I did feel kind of crazy. I'm like, I feel like everybody's calling for 23K. And listen, it doesn't mean that we're not going to get down there, right? Again, remember, I'm bearish in the longer term as of right now. But it's like you got everybody on their grandma on YouTube, on Twitter, calling very, very bearish. Oh my God, we're going to zero. And then you get a little move down and they're like, that's it. This is the start of the move. Here comes the pump. Here comes the dump. And I kind of feel crazy out here in my own little my own little world, just being like, I don't know, we're at the key support and we're getting bull divs on the higher time frames. I'm not bullish, but I do think we could reach. It's more likely that we get a retracement before coming back down. And I start to think crazy. And this is important for you guys to realize in your trading journey and just your journey in crypto is. Obviously, it's okay to listen to other people's takes, right? Like you guys are watching a YouTube channel to hear my opinion. But as long as you know that you're not gonna let all those opinions sway your opinion if your opinion is based off your own analysis, right? Like for me, I hear everybody being bearish, and that eats away at me a little bit because naturally, as an agnostic market analyst, I'm sitting here like, okay, like maybe I'm missing something. I have to be open to the fact that I might be missing something. But if I do my research and I'm not letting these people get into my head, right? Because I know how to analyze the charts. I have my strategies. I know they work. So I have to stick to my analysis and my strategies, even if everybody is saying the opposite. And you're going to run into this constantly in the market or just in your kind of crypto career, if you will. And it's very important not to get swayed, right? Because here's the thing, right? Like, I kind of felt crazy yesterday looking for a bounce. Everybody was calling for lower prices. Like, if I just came on here and was like, I'm going to go with everybody else. We're bearish. We're going down right now. No chance of a retrace because everyone else is bearish and they changed my mind. I would have to get up here and think about how frustrating that would be for me because I already thought we were going to bounce, but I just changed my mind because of other people. Obviously, I don't do that, but I'm saying this so you guys don't do that either because you would rather be wrong due to your own mistakes, right? Not because you wanted to go for someone else's mistake, someone else's opinion, and they were wrong, right? Be wrong because of you, not because you didn't want to stand by your actual analysis. Just trust in your TA and let the charts do its thing. But anyway, this green dot on the 4-day was part of the reason why we were looking for that retracement up. One of the many, many reasons. 3-day money flow still coming out a bit here locally. Not the most bullish look, but then you come down to the 2-day, which has gotten even more interesting. We talked about this yesterday. I didn't think we were going to print it this quickly, but we are starting to get a little bit of a bullish div on the 2-day, which we will come back and check on in just a second. And then the number one thing that we were looking for, or the two number one things. There are two number ones, guys. The two number one things we were looking at was that second development of another bullish divergence on the daily time frame with your higher lows on your momentum waves, lower lows on your price action as you deviate below the value area low, right? That's very important to think about, right? Or very important to realize. We compared this price action yesterday to this price action back here last time we deviated below the value area low. We put in some bullish divergences on specific levels. Looking for that bounce to the upside, we came right back to the value area high. We deviated from the value area high, put in those bear divs, got our bearish confirmations, got stuck underneath the value area high. We were expecting to come to the value area low. It happened in like 3 minutes. Wasn't expecting it to happen that fast, but we did come right down to that level. This is where you're starting to look for longs. We found the long, caught it to the 28K POC, and then we started deviating below the low. And this is where we were looking for those higher time frame bullish divergences on very specific time frames, such as the 12-hour, which we did wind up getting, is now confirmed. VWAP going straight up. That is a pretty good sign. But that 12-hour bull div was one of the major things we were looking for. On top of the 16-hour bull div is another thing we were looking for. And then obviously, as those start to print, we were expecting it to print on the daily. And we were thinking even the 2-day. Again, I didn't think it was going to happen that quick. But we now are printing that 2-day bullish divergence as well. And this is pretty indicative of a potential pump, which we've gotten, right? And this is why we were looking for this last night. And that's why you don't want to get overly bearish at the value area lows. They are key levels of support. You don't want to short support. You want to short resistance and get the big moves down, and then long support to get the moves up, right? You don't want to just short every time everyone else is bearish looking for a key level to be lost, right? Everybody panics when you lose a level, but that's how the market tricks most people. Like, I'll never forget when I started my trading journey, I used to think, like, as soon as a level was broken, like, I'd have a horizontal line on the chart, and as soon as the level got broken, I was like, oh my God, we're losing support, or oh my God, we're breaking out. And just like every other beginner trader, I would literally be buying the top and selling the bottoms because I was just simply getting tricked by support and resistance. So you don't want to get overly bearish at support, guys. A lot of times this is what you see, the deviation, and then you get your confirmations for a ride back up to the high of the range. And we're going to talk about where we think this could potentially go. Are we going to go higher, or are we going to roll back around right here and come lower? We're going to talk about it. But the 2-day, the daily, the 16-hour, and the 12-hour bullish divergences were some of the major things we were looking at for that push to the upside, right? Along with the green dots on the higher daily time frames and the money flow on some of these other time frames, such as the 10-hour and the 4-hour, etc., which the 4-hour is still just bing-bonging around with the money flow, which is a little bit concerning. However, again, the other thing that was the kind of first warning sign, or the first thing we were looking for last night, I was saying, hey, if we print that 4-hour bullish divergence, that's likely going to be the start of the move to the upside. And then as that brings you up, then you have the 12-hour bull div following along, then the 16-hour, then the daily, then the 2-day, and that kind of gives you that comfort to get that move to the upside. Another thing and the reason why I had a good idea that that move was going to start on that 4-hour green dot was not only because you had the divergence. That's a big thing, right? That was one of the big things, but we knew that as we were going to print that, and this was like right as we ended the live stream, we were getting very close to printing that green dot, and we knew that if we were able to print that green dot with our 15-minute money flow crossing over into the green at the same time, we talk about this all the time. When you get that 15-minute money flow crossing over into the green at the same time as a 4-hour green dot printing right here, a lot of times that can give you a significant move to the upside. Hopefully you guys remember me saying this. And this is a pretty simple strategy, right? Now, I don't enter my trades based off this strategy. I used to before, before I got into more advanced techniques and before I continued to learn. And I would just kind of enter on the money flow crossover, right? I'd be like, well, I'm going to enter on the money flow crossover, hope that green dot prints. And to be honest, it kind of worked a decent bit, right? Like they were winning trades most of the time. But obviously, there's a lot more confirmations, a lot more analysis that goes into it at this point. But knowing that 15-minute money flow was about to cross over into the green with that 4-hour green dot printing, right? Money flow crossover on the 15-minute, right? As your 4-hour green dot is printing. Let me go into bar replay mode just to show this to you guys so you can see like what it's kind of like in real time, right? Because it's always easy to go back and, talk about what has already happened, but it's a lot scarier when it's actually happening. So you have your VWAP at this point. VWAP starting to come up towards that 0 line. I'll print another candle. So your VWAP is starting to look like it wants to go up and cross over that 0 line to give you that green dot. For anyone who doesn't know, technically, I think what actually prints the green dots is the crossing of this gray wave and this light blue wave. As soon as those intersect, that's what prints the green dot really. But it's for the most part correlated with the VWAPs crossing over as well. So that's kind of what I look for. This is how I gauge how close we are to printing a green dot. Right here, you can obviously see we are curving up towards that 0 line, looking to cross over and get that green dot. So at this point, if I have other confirmations that I'm looking at, like let's say it's the 4-hour bull div, we know we have the lower lows, we know we have the higher lows. I know if we print that green dot, it's going to be a bull div. It's likely to give us a push to the upside, which I just know from the nature of a bullish divergence. But let's go to the lower time frames. Instantly, I'm thinking, let's go to the lower time frames and check out what money flow is doing. So we naturally go to the 15-minute to see if money flow is crossing up as well. And what is happening? right? Not only have we confirmed a bullish divergence on the 15-minute with your lower lows on price, higher lows on the momentum waves, but look at your money flow creeping up towards that zero line, right? So let's keep going. We'll just move time along, right? Money flow curving up. Let's see if we have our 4-hour green dot yet. Now we have our 4-hour green dot, and look at that. The move is starting to play out. And this is oftentimes a mark of a significant move, right? A lot of times it marks that the move will be significant. And then, I mean, obviously we'll play it through. Money flow eventually winds up crossing over. And then as that money flow crosses over, that's where you get the actual big move to the upside. You can see it you even caught it right before it took off if you were looking at this. Now, I don't want anyone getting twisted. You can't just randomly buy money flow crossovers. It's not going to work like that. We had a lot of confluence. We had a lot of reasons. We had the bull div. We had the bull divs on the 15-minute, the 4-hour, the money flow coming up on the 15-minute, the green dot on the 4-hour. We had many, many things, and we were already looking for a bounce for other reasons other than those confirmations as well. But you could see when you get these confirmations how lucrative it can be if you're able to call this before it happens. So just wanted to point that out because these are some things we were really looking at. I don't know if you were looking at the 15-minute money flow crossover as a signal on the live stream. I know we were looking at it in the premium Discord, but I think I mentioned it all the time on the live stream. But these are some reasons why we were looking for the pump to the upside. So now that we know how we got here, what is likely to happen? I'm going to come back to chat in a second, guys. But what is likely to happen now? Like, where is price going? It's probably why you're tuned into the live stream. Where is Bitcoin going next? And we're going to cover that right now. So now we know why we're here, how we got here. We had the bull div, broke below the value area low, not getting overly bearish, looking for a pump to the upside. If you guys watch the show, you will know that we do have some pretty, strong levels to the upside. I don't know what I'm trying to say. We have some levels that we're looking at to the upside that we've been watching for quite some time. And it all starts right here between about 27,445 and 26,885. Now, this is the Golden Pocket 786 retracement of this move down, this local move down. On top of that, I do believe we have some single prints up here as well. I'm not going to explain what single prints are or talk about it too much right now, but it just makes it it's an untested area on the charts. You find these on a TPO chart. Again, I'm not going to get too into this right now, but it makes it a big point of interest, right? And then if you do get there, there is a decent chance that we do want to go up and test that level, right? Not a guarantee, but there is just a lot of confluence within this purple box, giving us, a significant area of resistance to look at if we do get a push into this purple box. I will be looking for bearish confirmations to potentially go short and catch a scalp short. And it's not just the fact that we have the purple box with the golden pocket, the single prints, the 786, all that stuff, but also if we pull our volume profile, you can see that our value area high is in perfect confluence with that golden pocket. Right in the middle of that golden pocket. So you do have like a beautiful bit of confluence here. And if we were to wind up making our way above the POC and working up into this purple box, this is where I would be looking for my bearish confirmations to potentially catch a short position back down to the value area low, which is sitting down here at about 25,154. However, I do kind of want to talk about, our likelihood of getting back down there, right? Because what do we have going on? Another important level that we need to be watching is going to be, let me hide this local volume profile real quick. You have the macro volume profile sitting right here at about $25,812, right? I'll just go ahead and move this level, right? $25,812. This is the larger range low, right? The more macro value area low. So this is a level we have to keep our eye on because if we come down and we hold this level as support, we could potentially expect to get accepted back into the bigger range, right? Which is right here, right? If we come up, if we're able to come down and hold this level as support, we could expect to not only come up into our purple box and the local value area, right? I'll go ahead and unhide it. Not only will we come up to the value area high of the local value area, but we could also surpass the local value area and come up towards the POC of the larger range or the value area high of the larger range, right? I don't want anyone getting like super confused on this stuff because it's very simple. I know we have a bunch of boxes. I know we got a bunch of fibs, and there's kind of a lot of levels here, right? But if we just hide everything, right? I'm just going to hide all the noise, and we're going to break it down simply. Right now, we broke below the macro value area low. I'll even go ahead and hide this again, right? We're below the macro value area low. We got the bullish confirmations, looked for the long position, took it, got the move up, and now if we can hold support on the macro value area low, we could expect to come up to the POC and potentially and eventually that $29,550 value area high, right? I'm going to put a level there. So there's no guarantees we're going to get all the way back up here. However, it is possible if we are able to hold above this value area low to get that big move up to the top of the range. So with that being said, we're kind of playing the multiple ranges here. That's your macro range. That's what to expect if you hold above the value area low. Now I'm going to hide this macro value area and break down the local price action, right? Let me go ahead and where is that value area? Boom, right? So now we have this local value area. Let's get rid of that line. And we simply came to the low of that value area, and now we are fighting that POC. But if we come down to a lower time frame, spawn the level, right? We deviated slightly, came back above. Let me get this to the current price action real quick. Boom. If we're able to hold, well, right now we're playing with the POC, right? When you get below that value area low, you're looking for the longs. If you can get back up and hold it as support, you're looking to go back to the POC, crate and C. I beat you to it. I got to start asking these questions in a backwards way because he already knows when I'm going to ask the question and he answers. But you guys know once you get above that value area low and hold it as support, the next likely spot for Bitcoin to go is going to be towards that POC, which we basically got an immediate shot right up to the POC before getting a slight rejection, trying to flip it to support, and then rejection, tried to flip it to support, and now we're just kind of playing around with it. But even if we lose it a little bit here, there we go. Shout out to Wayne C, Wayne Delta, or Wayne Data, Hodl Crypto. I see those POCs in chat. But even if we break below here, oftentimes price action's messy, right? So we're not expecting it to just be a hold of support and then straight up to the value area high. But we could be looking, we could be looking for a move to the POC and then just kind of some bing-bonging around, a little retracement, and then potentially and eventually you're looking to get to that value area high, right? So locally, I am looking to potentially come up to the local value area high, which again is getting very close to those areas of rejection that we just looked at, that first lower high, and I want to talk about that a little bit more in a second. But so you have this little local range that you're looking at, and then you know that once you get up to this high, you can start looking at your longer-term range here. And let me just pull that up real quick. If I can find it. There you go, right? So once you get up to the high of this range, what's going on, right? Let's say you get the move up to the value area high, a little bing, bong, bing, right? At that point, hide your local value area. What's going on? Now you're potentially flipping your larger value area to support, and now if you're able to hold above these levels and you don't get super bearish confirmations, you could look for a move up to the macro POC and the macro value area high. And as you guys know, let me go ahead and spawn some of these these bigger levels to the upside, the more specific ones. So that's our first area of rejection, and then we have the other two right up here. Now, what are these rejection levels, right? We're looking for the retracement, but you might be thinking to yourself, Frankie Candles, shout out to Learning. We got the crystal balls in chat, baby. Waiting until we get to Ethereum. But what happens when you get that move up? First level, which we just talked about, golden pocket, single prints, all up in here. This is a very big area to look for a short. And the reason being, on top of it just kind of being the local value area, and other than that, there are a couple more reasons to look here, right? Because we don't know if our lower high is going to come in locally here, right? So you have your high, your lower high, and the continuation of the downtrend, or if we're going to break this local high at 28K, and then shoot for the higher prices, such as the value area high closer to 29.5. And in my opinion, this is the better level. This is the saucier level to go short from, or to maybe put in a heavier position. And the reason for that is not financial advice. I'm just talking about what I would do. The reason is because if you go ahead and pull your fib here from the high to the low of this scam wick on Bybit, you could see your golden pocket retracement of the entire move down is right here at between 28.7 and 29K. And then you have your 786 up here at about 30,100, and your value area high is right in the middle of that range. So if we get a move up and we don't get a rejection, a lower high at this purple box, and we're able to push up past the POC, this is the level we have to break. If we break that 28,000 POC, and flip it to support. This is where I am looking for a potential move up to these saucier short levels to put in a macro lower high and then continue the move down. But we have to understand that it isn't impossible for the lower high to come in here if we even get there. I mean, heck, like we could get a lower high right here and just roll back to the downside. However, with the bull div on the daily, bull div on the 2-day, etc., we may be able to see a bigger move up. And it's really just this purple box we got to get past. And then once you flip that POC, we're looking at this kind of range for our potential short positions to put that macro lower high in and come to the downside. So from a market structure perspective, this would kind of be the saucier level to short from, but we just don't know if we're going to get all the way up there. So why not be prepared? If the lower high comes here, why wouldn't we want to be in a short from here, right? So we got to kind of play it as it comes, but continuing on, those are really the key levels that I'm looking at for this retracement to come up and bring us up to. It really does. These are the areas that I'm looking at that make the most sense for the lower highs to come in. So once we crack this, I'm really looking up towards the highs of the range, and that also works out to the logic of your volume profile, right? Because at that point, if we're decisively over, let me hide the local value area. If we're decisively over this value area low, meaning the larger value area low, and we're holding it as support, right? You're already expecting, like, hey, we're holding support on the value area low. We're expecting to eventually get up to the value area high. And then at this point, everybody's calling for 100K. Great place to wreck all the bulls and then rip it right back to the downside. Now, what if, shout out to Dave Digital said, if the purple box is in the way, please delete it. Shout out to Dave Digital. Yeah, guys, if we start not being able to get over this box, I think a lot of traders don't realize this. Like, if your TP is up here and price is hitting its head right here, like everybody knows this, right? Like, you could just delete the level, right? Which obviously will make it much easier for you to get up to your TP. It's obvious. Like, I thought everybody knew this. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Obviously. Shout out to Dave Digital. So here we go, right? Let's continue on. So those are basically the major key levels I'm looking at for a rejection to come to lower prices, right? But what happens if we do go lower? Well, is it plausible to go lower? Absolutely. Why? Because the money flow in the higher time frames is coming out, right? That would indicate that the longer-term trend will likely continue down, and nothing goes down in a straight line. So you need some kind of a retracement before continuing down. So that's what we're looking for, right? So whether it winds up happening here, here, or here, we are looking, that is the sentiment that we are not going to make new highs. We are going to put in the lower high and continue to the downside. So if that does go to happen, here's the thing. Definitely plausible based off the higher time frame analysis. And if that does wind up happening, as you guys know, obviously the area that we are looking at is this range down here, pulled from this previous area of consolidation. Next key level of support coming in right here at your golden pocket value area high of this previous range right here. You can see we've already wicked down to that level on the leverage exchanges before getting a heavy bounce. But here's the thing. Is it likely that we're going to get a harsh rejection from here? And this is kind of what I have to say about it, because there are some very, very interesting things happening. And we've been talking about this for a long time now, right? Ever since, let me go ahead and see if I can pull up a clean chart here, right? Ever since we were up here hanging out and just ranging around for what felt like forever, we were looking for very specific things to continue our macro trend to the upside. Now, what was that? Well, number one, it was on the weekly time frame, right? We had a weekly uptrend, right? You have your low, your high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we were looking for another higher low to potentially come in. And actually, let me come to the Bitstamp chart. So there you go, right? Low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. We were looking for a higher low to come in here, and we have not broken the low here. And that was something very specific. For many reasons, we were looking for a potential higher low to come in there. Number one, you had the value area low, right? So we were saying, even if we, and shout out to anybody who's been watching, since back then, which wasn't that long ago. But if you've been watching, I know it gets boring. We don't get as many views when it's super boring. So I know less of you guys are here when it's boring. But back here, when we were just going sideways, when we got that move to the downside, we were saying, hey, even if we come all the way down to this value area low, we could potentially bounce off this value area low and put in a technical higher low. We compared it to these lows right here, right? It's kind of similar. If you pull your volume profile here, right? you're looking for price to come down and potentially put in a higher low. Now, obviously, we did wick past these lows, but the bodies close higher, right? The body closed higher. So you have a low and a technical higher low, and it's not that drastic. We were looking for something kind of similar here where we do technically, I mean, it's very, very tough call. We really haven't decisively broken these lows yet, which you could technically put in a higher low here, and that could potentially continue your uptrend. But I am being a little sus about that because we've had a lot of things change on the chart since then, right? We've remained below the 200-week moving average for quite some time. I could pull that up really, really quickly. I know that's something a lot of people are looking at. The 200-week moving average. Bada boom, right here, right? We are now living below this for the most part. And this is, not only did we close multiple weekly candles below, which doesn't really mean that we're guaranteed to stay below here, right? We talked about this. We've closed, a bunch of candles above this weekly moving average. Everybody was, oh my God, we're going to the moon, right back below it, and then big breakdown, right? Same thing here. We had a couple candle closes below it. We just popped right back above it. So it's not just that we're dead in the water because we're below this moving average, but we did wind up getting the bearish retest on this wick, and a pretty harsh rejection, which is not the best sign, right? So because of that, I am a little sussed out with this being a higher low, right? And it's not a strong higher low by any means, right? It's barely a higher low. So I am being a little bit sussed out, but technically, this isn't completely invalidated yet, although it has lost a lot of its merit, again, because of many things. Being below the moving average, the money flow in the higher time frames now coming down instead of coming up, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because on the spot exchanges, we don't have that panic wick that broke the lows, right? We have that panic wick on a lot of these other exchanges like Bybit that came all the way down, broke these lows. So that is, again, this is likely due to liquidation, etc. But, on the spot exchanges, we have not really decisively broken that low. So that is something interesting in and of itself. And I did want to bring that up. So, for our bullish case originally, before we were stuck below the 200-week moving average, before we had the money flow coming out on the higher time frames, before we were in Rectember, we were looking for a higher low to come in here to continue the uptrend and break these yearly highs. And I don't think that's impossible, but it is much less likely because of all the bearish things that have changed on the charts that I just went over. The one thing that is kind of remaining a little bit intact is the fact that we have not decisively broken these lows. So just keep that in mind. But either way, I do think it is likely that, maybe this was our retracement and we're just going to roll back over, but I do think we could potentially get a little bit more of a retracement to come up in here. And then obviously we just went over all those levels we're looking at for those rejections. So there you go, guys. Those are the levels that we're looking at on Bitcoin, not only to the upside, but also to the downside in case we do get that breakdown. But one last thing on Bitcoin I do want to talk about because you guys are going to run into this very, very, very often. And this is, again, part of the reason why, I try not to take, to be honest, I don't really pay attention to many other analysts. And it's not because I don't respect them or I don't think they're good or anything like that. It's just that whether another person is right or wrong, it can taint your thoughts. And it takes a long time to trust in your own analysis enough to just ignore everybody else. But it gets to a point where it's just beneficial to not really listen to other people. And at least if you do, know that, only do it with the understanding that that you're going to be able to separate what this person thinks from what you think. You're going to disagree with other analysts, and you might be inclined to think that if one analyst is above you, right? And I say above you with air quotes because there is no above you, right? But by above you, I mean has more experience, is a better trader, is has a big following, is big on crypto Twitter, big on YouTube, etc., etc. But just understand, just because someone has all this merit doesn't mean that they're never going to be wrong. So, this is the second time I'm kind of bringing this up, and that's why I don't really watch a lot of other TA, right? Like I don't really pay attention to really anybody that closely on Twitter. I don't really watch a lot of people on YouTube as far as crypto. I watch a lot of YouTube, but not crypto YouTube. But when I go on things like Debate Crypto, shout out to Debate Crypto. You guys should go check out their channel. They have awesome content over there. I go on there for TA Thursdays sometimes, and I like talking to other analysts, right? Seeing what they're doing when I can actually have access to them to ask them questions. Where'd you get that level from? What's this? And I like going back and forth. That's one of my favorite things about TA is seeing people who have an opposite opinion with me or an opposite opinion of me so I can get, again, always in the back of your head, you want to be thinking like, what could I be missing, right? But other than that, like just try to ignore a lot of the noise out there because just because someone has a big following or something like that doesn't mean that they can't be wrong and you can't be right. So just keep that in mind. But kind of to that, in the spirit of that, we were looking, right, for a potential bounce before we got the one here. Now, we were paying attention for this exact confirmation, which was the 12-hour, right? It kind of started here. We looked at our first bullish divergence, and I'm going to cover this real quick, and then we're going to move on to the altcoins. But this is important, guys. This is the sauce, because if you guys remember to my live stream a couple weeks ago, we were actually looking at not only the macro volume profile right here, but also the local volume profile. But I'm going to look at the macro because that was the main thing we were looking at, right? We were saying this, right? This is going to sound familiar. Well, guys, we're deviating from the value area low. We're putting in a bull div on the 12-hour at the value area low. We might get a bounce. Obviously, we did get the bounce, but then it just got swallowed up and we came right back down. And this was, I believe, on Thursday, right? So Friday, let me print another candle here, right? We ate it all back up. And once we were printing, there we go. We started to print this red dot on the 12-hour. And we're thinking to ourselves, well, hey, you have the bullish divergence, you have a red dot printing, but you're getting a green candle here. This is a little confusing because, in general, you would be looking for a long here, or I would, right? Because you have the bull div, right? Money flow doesn't look great. You have the red dot. That doesn't look great either. But we didn't hear, or if we were going to come down and put in another lower low. And I wish I had the clip from that live stream, but, on Friday when we were wrapping up the live stream, it was literally on this candle. Let's see, what is it? Friday, 8 p.m. Yeah, Friday on 8 p.m., basically on this candle, we were looking at, hey, guys, I actually said, guys, I don't know if this red dot has me sussed out. So I don't know if this 12-hour div is going to be the div. I don't know if this is going to be the thing that brings us up. It could be. We don't know. But even if we get another push to the downside, sure. Someone even asked me, what would invalidate the divergence? And I said, hey, if you get another move down and you break these lows, right, that would technically invalidate the bullish divergence, in my opinion, right? However, what I would be looking for at that time is simply a lower low to come in and our momentum wave to put in potentially another higher low like this to simply just put in another bullish divergence, right? Or another drive of bullish divergence. And that might be where we get the bounce. And that's essentially what we're seeing right now. The question is, and there you go, right? So you get that lower low, but remember, a lot of people here are just going to think to themselves, oh, I was wrong. We had the perfect setup, but we were wrong. But and then they're probably on this dump, they're thinking, oh my God, we're going lower. Let me get into a short. And then they get into a short only to get the bounce and another 12-hour bull div. And you can imagine, I'm sure a lot of you guys have been in this position where the market just winds up doing what you thought it was going to do in the first place. So this is why you want to have the if this then that statements, right? Because that was kind of what we were talking about on that Friday, where I was talking about, hey, like if this is not the div, guys, like if we get the move up, like if this div continues and the red dot doesn't confirm, this is the move and we're looking for shorts up here. If we get the move down, then we're looking for the second or the next drive of bullish divergence, and that's where we're looking for the move up. And we kind of got both, to be honest. Like we got the little move up off this div, and then we got the bigger move up on this div. But that's why you want to trade with an if this then that statement, because it allows you to take advantage of all of the moves in the market. It doesn't it gives you more opportunity. Why would you not want to take more opportunity, right? If you can make money when it goes up and down, why wouldn't you do that? But I just wanted to talk about that because I talked about this stuff specifically, and these are kind of the intricacies in trading and analysis that you just have to get a hang of in time, right? Like you just have to go through the actual steps or through the journey of being a trader, an analyst, whatever you want to call yourself, or whatever you are, right? And you kind of need to learn it through experience. And that was a very, very good example of like, I know a lot of people, especially a lot of new people, were probably feeling like, oh my God, I see the divs that he's talking about. Like, I see this. You might have even seen it on your own. And then it just winds up swallowing, like, just getting absolutely dumped on. And then you're like, oh my God, I guess we're bearish. Let me short. Now I got wrecked. What am I doing wrong? What you're doing wrong is not trading based off an if this, then that statement. And you're trading based off of emotion because you see the big red candles and you want to jump into the short. You broke the level of resistance, where an experienced trader is simply sitting on their hands. They're not shorting that impulsive move down, right? They get into their positions before the impulsive moves, right? They get their confirmations and then get in at the actual places where you should short, not at support. So, if you were sitting on your hands waiting for the move down to put a lower low in for an extended bullish divergence, then you could have looked for that bull div to get into an entry and get that push to the upside. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Shout out to Dave Digital, says blah blah blah, POC blah blah, value area low, blah blah, cha-ching, bing bong. Shout out to Dave Digital. Why is the money so heavy? Why does the money drop like a rock? Did you see the money just drop? It is paper money. I don't know why it falls so fast. They're actually gold backs, so they're kind of heavy. I'm just kidding. But guys, that is what we're looking at on Bitcoin. That's how we got there. That's where I think that we could potentially be going. In the local kind of analysis before we jump into the altcoins, I will be careful, right? Yesterday was kind of like, we got to move down. Be careful of the retracement to the upside. Now we've gotten the retracement to the upside. I am in a long position. Let me see if I can pull this up. I just want to make sure I don't dox anything. Let me just pull up my face real quick. I'm very, very cautious about what I pull up on screen now, guys, believe it or not. But here we go. Getting a little push to the downside, but let me just go ahead and there you go. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Bear with me. Bada boom. Okay. Boom. Let me pull up OBS real quick. So here we are, right? This is the scalp long entry. 25,246. I mean, you guys could just see it on the chart here. Boom. Got the push up. There you go. Little scalp. Not too bad. 28% in profit. This is, guys, this short that I am in, I've been in this short for quite some time. I'm letting this one simmer. This is more of a swing short. Up 1,800, 517 locked in. Not too bad. But, and there you go. This is how you can be bearish and bullish at the same time. Long, short, green, 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 right? But these are the two trades that I'm in right now. Little scalp, little bit of a swing trade, and there you go. But I want to talk about kind of this push to the downside. What is price likely to do? Are we going to get a retracement? If we do, how low can we go? Are you going to get a second chance to enter a long? Potentially. I'm going to talk about it in just a second. So with that, let me go ahead and hide the if you guys want to sign up for Femex, you guys can check the link in the description down below. They always have deals going on. I don't know if they're doing anything specific right now, but if you guys want to help out the channel and potentially, most likely get some kind of bonus deposit into your account, you could use our link to sign up for Femex, and it helps support this free education that we give here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. So if you're into that kind of thing, use our link. If not, just go to Femex and sign up without our link. But here we are, right? Let me go ahead and hide this and pull up the... Let me pull up the actual local TA, because obviously, not just like nothing goes down in a straight line, nothing goes up in a straight line. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I'll pull this volume profile one last time. Now, okay, so what do we have going on here? Now, what I would say is you could even look at even maybe a little bit more of a local value area here. Now, obviously, we are already deviated outside of the value area, but here's the thing. I'm going to pull the golden pocket from the absolute low of this move all the way to the high. You can see here, the value area low is coming within pretty good confluence of your golden pocket retracement of the entire move, right? So what happened here? We came up, deviated above the volume profile, right, or the value area high specifically, and what happened, right? Look what's happening here. Let me pull this all the way to the current price. There we go. So what happened? We came from the low, we got above the value area low, flipped it to support, went to the POC, right to the value area high. Then what happened? Well, you got your bearish divergences above your value area high. with higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves. Also, you have your money flow generally trending to the downside. Now, why is this significant? Well, it's significant because, number one, this is indicative of a cool-off, right? You can think of the volume profiles as the value area high. When you're above your value area high, you're thinking of this as overbought. When you are below your value area, you're thinking of this as oversold. The inside of the range. Let me explain this really, really quickly here, guys. Here's the thing. With the volume profiles, this is the fair price for Bitcoin or whatever asset you're looking at. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin, obviously. This is the fair price for Bitcoin, right? This is what everyone has agreed. Hey, this is a pretty fair price. That's why we're hanging out in here, right? This is the fair value. Quote, value area, right? Fair price for Bitcoin is within this range. So when you leave this range, this is actually like, well, hey, we're not in the fair value anymore. We're actually overbought, right? And you can think of it like overbought or overvalued, right? So if everyone's agreeing that, the fair price for Bitcoin is between 26,189 and say 25,587, anytime you get above 26,173, whatever it is up here, you're thinking like, well, hey, this isn't a fair price for Bitcoin. We're probably going to go back into the value area, right? I try to use like a metaphor for this. Like think about if you somehow, I don't want to butcher it. I'll think of one and I'll tell you guys tomorrow. But you're just simply put, overbought, oversold, fair value, right? So when you get overbought, you're expecting to get pulled back towards the fair value. And when you're oversold, you're expecting to get pulled back up into the fair value, right? So when you're above, you're looking to come back into fair value. When you're below, you're looking to get pulled back up into fair value. So what happened here, simply, you came out of your fair value into your overbought territory. You put in there were more confirmations than this, but simply put, you have your higher highs, lower highs. This is your bearish divergence, getting that open alligator mouth that typically likes to puke out those red candles. And what happens here? You get your higher highs, you get your lower highs, and then boom, you come to the downside, right? And you're already expecting to get sucked back into the value area. What happens? You get a move down, bearish retest on the value area high. If you cannot get back above this level, you're expecting to come down to the POC right here at about 25,762 and potentially, eventually, back down to the value area low. And if we deviate below this value area low again, right, like we did back here and back here, likely the value area was much different back here, but just use it as an example. Just like that, or even, just like this, deviated from that value area before getting sucked back in. If you come back down to this value area low and you deviate below, you just so happen to have your golden pocket retracement down here, which would be a good place to look for a higher low to come in before potentially continuing our trend up to that first major level of resistance that we were looking at before, right? Let me zoom out so you guys can kind of see the context of this, right? This is that first major level I'm looking for a short at, right? Or that lower high to come in, but we're trading this local price action right now. So likely price isn't going to go straight up to this box. You're going to have a move up, a move down, and then, you got to create market structure here, right? You got to make a low, high, higher low, higher high. And if you're going to go from the low, make the high, put the higher low and the higher high, this would be a likely place to put that higher low in. And your 786 is just below that. You could potentially go down there as well. Obviously, this is the between the golden pocket and 786 is where you expect that higher low to come in. But, you have the confluence of like, if you're hitting that golden pocket, you're deviating below the value area low. In essence, you're oversold, expecting to get pulled into the fair value again, which is inside the value area. And if that happens, it just so happens to be that area where it's likely to put in that higher low and continue to the upside. So if we are going to continue up, and this was not the lower high that we've been looking for, then this would be a high probability area to put in a higher low and continue to the upside. Now, confirmations that you would look for down there to get into the trade is a whole nother story, but this is, a good place that I would be looking at for a potential bounce to come in for many reasons, not just the fact that it's a golden pocket, but also the value area low of the range. So if we are going to continue up, that's kind of what I would be looking for. And there you go. That is kind of so locally, right, not only do we have those 15-minute bear divs, the higher highs, lower highs, money flow is also coming out. And on top of that, when you come up to these medium time frames, do you remember at the beginning of the stream, we talked about that money flow crossover into the green, kicking off that move to the upside. We talked about that last night before it happened. And we were looking at the money flow crossover into the green on the 15-minute because we had a green dot on the 4-hour printing. We just went over this example in the beginning of the stream. Now, in the same way, if we wind up getting a 4-hour red dot at the same time as the money flow is crossing over into the red, that could be the thing that triggers the bigger move to the downside. Now, are we set up for that? Well, let's take a look. Money flow coming out on the 15-minute. You're not quite there yet, but money flow is coming out on the 15-minute, starting to head towards that 0 line. Is the 4-hour looking to print a red dot? Well, it's in a very similar position. It's not right there ready to print a red dot, but it is potentially looking to print a red dot at a very similar time as this 15-minute money flow will cross over into the red. And if we see that happen, that's where I would expect this move down to potentially hit that value area low to potentially get a bounce to the upside. Now, once we start breaking the 786, that is kind of where all bets are off for me, or not all bets, but once we start coming down and we break below that 786, this is where you're in danger of getting that last drop down to much lower prices, in my opinion, coming in between about 24,300 and 23,800 or 815. So there you guys go. That is what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. Short and simple, just seeing almost exactly what we wanted to. Caught the scalp long. Not too upset about that. But how long we've been going for? About an hour and 5 minutes. It's about time to go ahead and do some analysis on some altcoins. So go ahead, and if you want to see me do TA on your favorite altcoins, go ahead and spam him in chat right now. Rob the Crypto Snob. I don't know if he's still in here. He might have work in the morning, but if he isn't here, he will be counting up the votes and let us know what altcoins we're looking at. And real quick, I will just go ahead and check on chat. And I'm going to start with Ethereum. So don't worry about putting Ethereum on the list, Rob. Oh, there he is. Let's go. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. We're going to take a look at, I'll take a look at ETH. And then, let me know your altcoins in chat, and Rob the Crypto Snob will count up the votes. There he is, baby. Let's go. Dave Digital said he said short and simple. Shout out to Dave Digital. Let's see. Art Mason said, what do you think about FTX liquidating? How much do you think it'll hurt Bitcoin? Great question, Art. Very, very, very good question. Hard to answer. It's hard to answer. I don't know the answer to the question. I don't know. I simply don't know. I don't want to give a strong opinion when I don't really have one. Probably not going to be good. But I don't know how worried I would be. I would need more information. I don't have the information that I need to make a legitimate speculation on that. But yeah, probably wouldn't be good. It depends on what they liquidate, how much of it, obviously. So yeah. Let's see. Lots of single prints from the pump around 25.5 level. Shout out to Darren Does Things. I mean, it would make perfect sense, Darren. It would make perfect sense. Shout out to you for saying that. God, we might have to go over single prints on a YouTube live stream. I cover that stuff a little bit more in the premium live streams, but I like to keep it somewhat simple on the YouTube, just because I know we have a lot of beginners, and the whole point of this YouTube channel is to break things down in easy to understand way, kind of demystify the charts, not talk over your head. And if I do say words that might be over your head, I like to break them down. And it's like value area. People are probably thinking, like, what does he mean by value area? Like, is there something I'm missing? I can't get a direct question to him. By value area, guys, when I'm referring to the volume profiles, the value area is simply just the range, right? Range high, range low. Value area high, value area low. POC is usually the midpoint of the range, but that can obviously move. But when I say value area high, value area low, all I'm referring to is a range that I'm analyzing, with the high being the value area high and the low being the value area low. Very simple. Like anytime I feel like I speak over people's heads, I always try to just bring it back. Like, hey guys, if you think like liquidity, I think people love saying liquidity. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not anyone that like we associate with. Like obviously all the channels that we talk to and hang out and have on the show, like we trust them. Like the reason we have them on is because we think they put out good information and they can bring value to you guys. But there's a lot of people out there that I think they like to throw around the term liquidity because it makes them seem fancy. Liquidity simply just means money, right? Just like Google liquidity or simply put, just go ask, you could just go ask AI to hey, break down, what does liquidity mean? You could literally talk to AI like a person. Be like, hey, I watched this guy on YouTube and he keeps saying liquidity. I think he's talking over my head. Can you break down liquidity in a more simple manner? And they'll just tell you. They'll just be like, liquidity just means money. And a lot of times when people refer to liquidity when they're looking at a chart, they're simply referring to where stop losses are, right? Where traders' stop losses are, right? So like, let's see, like right here, this is the perfect example, right? You got to think to yourself, if you have a lot of traders that are longing here, right? Let's say they're coming to the bottom of the range and they're looking to get into a long, right? Just make this a little smaller, right? So let's say they get into a long here, right? And now this isn't going to be one person trading. This is going to be, 300 bazillion people trading, right? There's a million different people, like a gazillion people are trading, right? So everybody who's long from here, where is their stop loss going to be? Well, it's likely going to be somewhere below this value area low. It might be below these lows here. But generally, a lot of traders set their stop losses in the same spot. So this is what they refer to as liquidity. Liquidity is just where money is, right? You can explain it. You can explain it like this. Like let me try. Okay, so let's say I'm on a beach, right? And I'm selling ice cream in a cooler. I don't know if they do that anywhere other than New York. I don't know if they still do that. But the guy runs around and goes, ice cream. Who wants your effing ice cream, right? Just run around with his cooler with his dry ice, selling ice cream on the beach, right? I'm sure they don't do it anymore. But anyway, are you going to just go walk around where there's no one on the beach, right? You need to go where the money is. You need where the people are with the money in their pocket, right? I can't sell ice cream if there's no people to buy the ice cream. So you have to go where the money is, because you need to exchange the money for the ice cream. So I'm not going to be walking around an empty beach because there's no money there. Does that make sense? There's no liquidity. It's not a liquid area to conduct business. So you have to go where the people have money in their pockets so you can go up to them, ask them if they want to buy ice cream, and then make an exchange, right? So that's, I don't know, I might have butchered that. But simply put, a lot of times when people mention liquidity, they're just simply talking about where people's stop losses are. And that's a lot of times when people say stop hunt, a lot of times you will get the market will come down and stop all these people out, causing a sharp wick to the downside just like this before reversing price all the way back for a big move up. So if anyone's trying to talk over your head saying the word liquidity, now you know what it actually means or what they're likely referring to. It's a general word, but in the scope of trading, that's typically what they're talking about. They're talking about, oh, there's a lot of liquidity above here. But like, I never hear people try to actually explain it to people. Like, oh, there's a lot of liquidity up here. Really what they're talking about is stop losses, right? So there you go. I try to break things down as simple as I can. But let's see. Altcoin votes are in and being counted. And look at that. In 2 seconds, Rob the Crypto Sound, the altcoins for tonight are ETH, XRP, HBAR, ADA, and ARB. No problem. That sounds good to me, Rob. Thank you for doing that, man. Shout out to Dave Digital, said Mark has liquidity in his pockets. Shout out to Dave Digital. Shout out to Dave. Let's go. I did have a couple of super chats. I do want to go over those really quickly. Dang, you guys went crazy in the beginning of the stream. Shout out to Dave, says hashtag birds aren't real. Shout out to Thesis himself, said bullish on the bearish retest. That is exactly how I feel, bro. Bullish on the bearish retest is exactly my sentiment right now. It's a really funny way to say it. Dave Digital said, happy birthday, Rob. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Stomp. You guys know he has a birthday every single day. Shout out to Rob. Hannah King, wishing Rob a happy birthday. Shout out to Hannah King, the female princess CandleMafia. The CandleMafia princess is not, I don't know what's going on. Shout out to Hannah King. Thank you for being here and sending that super chat. Shout out to Nikki94, said, okay, Frankie, I'm back. You may resume. Shout out to Nick. Thank you for being here, bro. I appreciate you. Dave Digital said, if the purple box is in the way, just move it. Shout out to Dave Digital. It's the trick to trading. When there's resistance, simply just delete it off the chart, and the price will move right through it. I'm kidding, guys. Shout out to Daddy Zach, the daddiest of all Zachs. He says, that is some saucy analysis. Shout out to Daddy Zach. That is some daddy Zachin. Shout out to Daddy Zach. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate you. Tony D saying, smash that like for the sauce. Shout out to Tony D. He also said Golden reached his YouTube donation limit this week. No way. Literally, he gives away so many memberships that YouTube's like, sorry, you can't give anymore. Shout out to Tony D. Golden reached his YouTube donation limit this week, which basically means a lot of money. Everyone show him some love. He donated hundreds of memberships, which I think translates to thousands of dollars. So show some Golden some love in the chat. He's been showing an infinite amount of support, and we love him dearly for it. Thank you so much, Golden. You're crazy, man. Like, Leave it to Golden to find out where the limit on how many memberships you can gift is. Shout out to Khalil. Hopefully I said your name right. Hopefully I didn't butcher it too much. He said, Frankie, what length do you use for your money flow settings, and is it the same length? Look back on all time frames. I don't change. All of my actual settings on Market Cypher B are default. The only thing I changed was the colors, and I took some things off the chart like the RSIs. But all the lookbacks and stuff are default. So hopefully that helps you out. Shout out to Khalil, no problem. Hopefully that helps you out. Mark, shout out to Mark Dutch, gifted 5 Frankie Candles memberships. Shout out to Mark. Guys out here with the memberships, man. Mark, you're a savage, bro. I appreciate you. Gary C., not to be confused with Gary G. Gifted 1 Frankie Candles membership. Let's go. Shout out to Gary C. I appreciate you, bro. And you are much better than Gary G. I will tell you that. Dave Digital said, yeah, Mark, liquidity means money. Shout out to Dave Digital. And he said, all princesses are female, Frankie. Just saying. Man. Dang it. Shout out to Dave. I'm just kidding, guys. I know that. Shout out to Dave Digital. But guys, let's go ahead and start jumping into these altcoins. And as you guys know, as we look at Ethereum, oh baby, what were we looking at on ETH last night? Well, I remember. I actually remember for once because I don't know why. I just do. But if you guys remember, last night we were hanging out down here at the value area low of the range, right? And what were we looking at? And the resistance hits, guys. The levels hit. The levels absolutely hit. So what were we looking for here? I'm going to get rid of the golden pocket. And let me just get rid of some of these levels just to clear the actual chart up. Well, what were we looking for on Ethereum recently? We were stuck below this value area high, right? So we were accepted within this area of balance. Or again, area of balance, value area, and range. When I refer to these things, they are all the same thing. Value area is the range. Area of balance, I'm referring to the range. And when I say range, it's simply just a range. But we were stuck in this value area, right? And we knew that in order to go to higher prices, we had to break the value area high. If we got stuck below this value area high, we were expecting to go down to the POC, which we did. If you get stuck below the POC, that's where you're looking for a move down to your value area low, coming in at about 1550. And this is what we were all giddy about yesterday, saying, hey, we were calling for 1550, thought we were crazy. And here we are sitting at that exact price level. Again, it's just simply going off the laws of the volume profile, get stuck under the value area high, go to the POC, lose the POC, go to the value area low. And now, as we were sitting below that value area low, what were we looking for? We were looking, as we were oversold, right, or undervalued, we were looking for a bounce. Not just because we were below the value area low, but once we knew we were in this area, right, this is where the opportunity is, right? Right, when you go below the value area low, that's where the opportunity is, right? And you could even see this from back here. All the way back here, which is where the levels came from for this range. Come below the value area, this is your opportunity. This is where you find the setup to ride it back to the high. When you come above the high, this is where you look for the opportunity to go back to the low. And now, I mean, you went for a little bit of a ride here, but it did wind up playing out. Then you get more opportunity. You're looking to go to the high, more opportunity, looking to go to the low. You kind of bing-banged around, but you did come to the low, and then you deviate again. This is your opportunity. You look to come back to the high, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So once you get below that value area low, that's where you start to look for your confirmations to look for a potential long position. So you deviate below the low. You find your confirmations to go long. Did we have them? We did. Yeah, you had the bullish divergences here on the 30-minute. As you deviated below that range, you put in the 30-minute bull div. Money flow was coming up. Just like you have that 4-hour money flow crossover with the green dot on the 4-hour happening at the same time, just like that gave us a big move up on Bitcoin, you can look for this exact thing on higher time frames, such as, can I please just draw the dang line? There we go. You can look for this with your 8-hour, your 30-minute and 8-hour, which is exactly what happened, right? You had your 30-minute bull divs confirmed, letting you know this might be a significant bottom as you deviated below your value area low. You're already looking for a move up to potentially your POC or your value area high, but You have the bull divs and money flow coming up, and when you have your 30-minute money flow crossing over into the green, if you can get that at the same time as your green dot on the 8-hour, sometimes it gives you a significant move to the upside, which is exactly what happened. So you did have your signals to go long here. There's more confirmations than that, but just simply put, you deviate from the value area low. You're expecting to get sucked back in towards that POC, which acts as a magnet, and you get that move to the upside, right? And we also did have the 12-hour bull div, which is printing right now. 16-hour is also printing your daily bull div, and your daily is not printing the bull div yet, but it is looking to print just like it was on Bitcoin. However, your money flow on that daily on Ethereum is not looking that great, but that div will potentially give you a further push to the upside. Next levels I would expect, if you do continue up here, would be the POC coming in at 1635, as well as the value area high coming in at about 1660. Those are the next targets to the upside. And if I just go ahead and undo all this and pull up those purple boxes that we were looking at in the beginning, this is where we were looking for that pump to get a rejection. These two major levels to look for a rejection at. Why were we looking at these levels for a rejection? Well, number one, it's the golden pocket retracement of this whole move down. We know that oftentimes we could get resistance on these levels. What happened? We got stuck right underneath them. If we push above this level, you have your next level, which is here at the 786 Fibonacci retracement level, as well as the POC of the range. So there you go, right? That's the power of the volume profiles and the golden pockets. But, other than that, taking a look at your 4-hour VWAP coming down, right, similar to Bitcoin, your 15-minute, you do not have a bearish divergence here. Well, you do. Yeah, you have a confirmed bearish divergence right here into your golden pocket, right? Oftentimes, guys, this is a pretty good signal, right? Especially if you're just looking for scalps, right? You come up into your golden pocket. You're expecting a rejection here. If you put a bearish divergence into your key level of resistance, that is oftentimes where you will get a little bit of a move down. It was a 2.17% move. That is plenty of a move to the upside or to the downside to make money if you're trading with leverage. Actually, let me see here. I don't know. Let me see here. I don't know. Let me measure this real quick. I don't think. Yeah, like I'm up right now on my short. I'm up $500, right? And it's a 2% move, right? So it all depends on how much leverage, how much capital you're using. But definitely a profitable move. You don't need these massive moves to make money, right? You can make $500 here. I mean, again, you can make 100,000 here, depending on how much money you're trading with. But I'm not using that much margin on this trade. Now, obviously, the money you put on a trade, it's going to vary what a lot of money is to everybody, right? So I have $1,600 in the trade, right? But I'm not risking $1,600. I'm only risking a very small portion of that. But point is, if you get those bearish divergences with money flow coming out at a golden pocket like this, there's a very high likelihood you're going to get some kind of a rejection and some kind of a profitable move. But there you go, right? So money flow coming out on the 15-minute. You have the bearish divergence confirmed. If this money flow winds up crossing over with the 4-hour red dot, the 3-hour looking to print a red dot, and the 2-hour looking to print a red dot, 1-hour red dot printing, this could wind up giving you a continued retracement to the downside. However, if you do continue down here, I mean, look at the confluence. You could come down to potentially your golden pocket at 1560 or your 786, which comes in perfect confluence with your value area low, right? So maybe, come up, flip it to support, go for the POC. Didn't quite get there. If we cool off and put a higher low in, I'd be looking at the golden pocket or the 786 for those higher lows to come in. And if you do get that move down, because of the money flow here, look at the money flow on the 1 hour. If this crosses into the green, you may be able to get the trend to continue up. So, again, kind of the vibe here on not only Ethereum but also Bitcoin would kind of be the opposite of yesterday. Yesterday, we were looking for the retracement to the upside. I don't know. I really don't think that this retracement is fully over, even if we come down a little bit more. I think you could potentially continue back up. So I would be careful of the retracements to the downside in the immediate term. Like when we get off this live stream, watch out. We might wind up getting a we may wind up getting a when we sign off the live stream, we may wind up getting a retracement to the downside, but I do think we could potentially wind up continuing back up. It may just be a retracement to put in a higher low. And again, those levels I would look at for that retracement or kind of the line in the sand would not only be breaking the 786, but also breaking the value area low at 1550. Once you wind up losing that range again or losing the value area low again, if we can't get back above that level, that's where you would look for the bigger move down. Very similar to Bitcoin. All right, let's go ahead and see what we got going on. Wait, are we just adding? What is going on? Are we just adding random emojis to the Frankie Candles membership? Let's see. Shout out to Mark Dutch said, "Who's golden?" Golden is golden. Let's go. Shout out to Golden. We appreciate you, bro. I know you're in here. I saw you in here before. Shout out to you, bro. But yeah, are we just adding random emojis? We have a tomato emoji and a snowman emoji? Or is that just random? Are those regular emojis? Those aren't Frankie Candles emojis, are they? That tomato looks like an actual picture of a tomato. All right, let's see. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Thank you for your service, my friend. Have a good day and have a good night's sleep, my friend. Thank you for being here, and we will see you mañana. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. It's just bananas, just random emojis. I love it. Okay. I'm trying to decode Dave Digital's string of emojis. It's snowman, gift, tomato. I think it means a word. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at H-bar. Let's do it. We got pickles. Let's go. 100% Tony's fault. Is Tony just... Yeah, hang on a second. Is that an actual Purell bottle? Hang on. What is going on? Tomato hands? I'm lost. I don't know what's going on with the emojis. I like the pickle emoji. Let's go. You guys are crazy. All right, let's go. Let's continue on here. Taking a look at H-bar. Let's check it. Take a look at the daily. Let's see. What were we looking at yesterday? Bybit chart. This is probably what we were looking at. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, yeah, so what we were looking at, this I think is the one that we were looking at most recently, and we are potentially going to put that daily bull div in. Looks like it could happen soon. We could wind up printing this in 57 minutes and 58 seconds, 55 seconds, 54 seconds, 53 seconds, 52 seconds. I'm kidding, guys. But could be putting that bull div here on the daily as we are already starting to get a bounce. I think we already... no 4-hour bull div, never mind. You did get the 1-hour bull div. That's kind of what started your little journey to the upside. Money flow coming up on the 1 hour. That looks pretty nice to me. Take a look at the 16-hour. Yeah, green dot printing. We got 57 minutes. If you get that money flow crossover in the next hour, could wind up getting another push to the upside. My sentiment on H-bar would remain just about exactly the same as it did, I guess, yesterday or whatever day we wound up looking at it. Let's see. Let me readjust here. So, yeah, if we get that daily bull div could potentially have the power. Your lower lows on your price. Let me zoom in here. Your lower lows on your price, higher lows on your momentum waves, that could potentially give you the power to push up into these levels. Now, why am I not expecting this daily bull div to bring us way up? The reason is the bull div is fighting against your money flow, right? So you have a bull div, but bearish money flow. Fresh crossover into the red. This is indicating that the trend is likely to continue to the downside. But your bull div is indicating a move up, right? So we're expecting it to be a lackluster move or a lackluster retracement before more downside. And those first levels that I am looking at for a rejection are simply pulled from the local volume profile, right? So if we do wind up getting that daily bull div printing, money flow on the 1 hour crosses over. This is a 4-hour money flow crosses over into the green as well. This is obviously all based off of if this stuff happens, we could see the continued move above the value area low into the POC and potentially into the value area high, where I would naturally be looking for shorts. Now, as you guys know, I don't typically trade the middle of a range. Now, The reason for that is typically the higher probability setups are at the value area high and the value area low. Again, simply put, the range higher, the range low. But I would make an exception here if I got the right confirmations to go short at the value at the POC, and the reason for that is because you have your local golden pocket. Oh, Mrs. Candle's coming in with the Aztec and Cactus Moss Water. Mrs. Candle's, get over here right now. Don't try to. No, I don't care if you got to pee. It doesn't matter. Guys, look at the hand. Look at the hand. She's not going to make it. Okay, anyway. Shout out to Mrs. Candle's hand. Continuing on. Wow, she really had to go, I guess. But money flow coming up here, guys. If we get the crossover and get the push up, the reason I would be okay potentially looking for a short at this POC Golden Pocket Confluence is simply put that there's a golden pocket here, because I know that's likely where you could put in a lower high before continuing down. It is going to rely heavily on what price looks like when we get up there. If I don't get the confirmations, yo, there's the hands. Let's go. Mrs. Candle's hand. The Mrs. Candle's hand emoji, I think, is the best thing that has happened to our channel probably ever. And the second most awesome thing to happen to this channel is the chair that I have that just makes me sink randomly. Very, very frustrating. Much more frustrating than Mrs. Candle's hand. Anyway, you guys are out of control. All right, let's see. Too much. But yeah, that's kind of why I would be open here. But if I didn't get the confirmations, I'd be much more comfortable taking the shorts from the value area high. And then once you get to that value area high, you would analyze the higher time frames to see if it's likely to get a bigger move back to the downside or if you could push up higher. But those are the levels I'm looking at and kind of my plan for H-bar. Granted, I probably won't be trading this, but this is what my plan would be for H-bar if I was. But locally, same thing, right? Like, could get a retracement back down. Even if you're going to continue up, you could potentially get a little bit of a retracement to the downside, in which case, I mean, you already got the golden pocket test. Maybe you come down for the 786. But you're looking for a red dot on the 4-hour. Your 2-hour is potentially looking for a red dot. 3-hour, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you get a retracement. But that's kind of my plan for H-bar. You guys are too much. Man, those plastic doll hands are so lifelike nowadays. Shout out to Elianix Rodriguez. Oh, God, bro, you're funny. You're funny. Oh, God, Mrs. Candles. Mrs. Candles. Mark Dutch said front or back, smelling for a friend. Oh, God. All right, yo, the candle hands. Oh, my God. I can't imagine why Mrs. Candles doesn't want to hang out with a bunch of hand sniffers. I don't get it either. Also, my new favorite saying is, what in the Mrs. Candles hand sniff is going on here? Shout out to Khalil says, thank you, except I use different MFI alternative, not Market Cipher, so I don't know what the default value is in Cipher. Well, let's go ahead and see. I don't even know if they let you change those calculations. Yeah, I don't think they do. So there you go. I couldn't even I'd give you my setting. I'd let you see the settings if I had them. But there you go. Let's see. Sorry about that, Khalil. But hopefully that somewhat helped you out. Let's see. Okay, let's continue on here. Let's see. Remember that hand sanitizer she bought a few Christmases ago? That was fire. What is going on? What is going on? Oh, yeah, the Bath & Body Works hand sanitizer. Oh, I do know what he's talking about. Yeah, Mrs. Candles bought like a Christmas tree scented hand sanitizer that was out of control. It smelled like an actual tree. Unbelievable. All right, let's see. All right, let's continue on. I can't. Shout out to Killing It Crypto. Okay. Let's go. Mrs. Handles. Oh, my God. You guys are too much. All right, let's go ahead and check out ADA. Binance. Here we go. Let's see. Maybe we can take a look at the Bybit chart. Which ones have we been looking at? Might have been the Coinbase. Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. So, well, yeah, this is, I believe it was the 4-hour we were looking at. Or no, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the 2-hour. We were looking at the exaggerated bull div here on Cardano. Where was it? I don't know exactly where. Maybe it was the 4-hour. No, Is it 2 hour? Well, here, yeah, I think it might have been the 2 hour. But we had this divergence on Cardano, guys. And let me spawn the levels. There we go. Let me collapse this down. But yeah, lower lows on price action. And you don't have your higher lows here, right? So they're going to give it a little, I'm going to give it a little bit of sauce, right? Now, a lot of people don't talk about this. For divergences, which some of you might know, some of you might not know. For a bearish divergence, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to illustrate this, right? You have higher highs on your price action, right? These are your candlesticks. You have higher highs. And on your oscillator, such as Market Cipher or your RSI, for a bearish divergence, what you're looking for is lower highs, right? So that is your bearish divergence with your open alligator mouth. This is where the purple candles puke out, right? Or the red candles puke out. For a bullish divergence, you are simply looking for lower lows on your price action, and you're looking for higher lows on your momentum waves, giving you the opposite of this, right? So instead of higher highs, you have lower lows. And instead of lower highs, you have higher lows. And this is a bullish divergence. But and then there's hidden bullish, hidden bearish, obviously. But what a lot of people don't talk about is the exaggerated divergences, right? Where you may have higher highs on the bearish end on your price action, but your oscillator actually just has equal lows, right? Where it's just a straight line, not an angle. This is still a divergence, but it is, or I guess for a bearish divergence, it would be equal highs, right? So this is this is also a divergence. However, with the exaggerated divergences, you are not looking for a big move, right? Because oftentimes it'll either play out less than a normal divergence, or it is simply a false signal. So they are kind of hard to read in that kind of perspective or that aspect. But oftentimes they do play out to some degree, and we saw that happen here with Cardano. You confirmed it right here. Boom, you get the move up. We came into our first rejection zone. We front ran it just slightly. You get the front run on the value area low, which was our first rejection level. And there you go. Shout out to Tony Roaz, said, clip this and make a short. Tony, are you talking about that divergence explanation? Let me know in the chat. But we wound up seeing this play out right into our level of resistance. Again, we front ran it by a few bucks here, or a few cents here, I should say. But this is the level that we got to get above if we want to see higher prices for Cardano, right? And to be 100% honest with you, it is looking a little sus. Red dot looking to print. Money flow kind of deep in the red there. Your 10-hour money flow is slightly trending to the upside, but I don't 100%, that is generally trending up, but nothing too, straightforward. But here's the thing. You do have the daily bull div looking to print. So this is kind of a saucier look here with the lower lows, right? You got your bull div on the daily. This could easily continue up into our next levels of resistance. So we've already come up. We've already tapped our first level, right? Likely we are going to get a continued retracement to come in here. And if we do, we could put in a higher low and then continue on to attack, right? Maybe we come down, put in a higher low, come in, attack the value area low. If we can get above it, we could look to come into the golden pocket 786 retracement level where I would be looking for shorts. So kind of right on schedule for Cardano since our last kind of check-in with it. But we've gotten our rejection where we expected. Now the question is, are we going to see that bull div on the daily print, which it does look like it is looking to do? And if we do get that, are we going to get that next push up into our actual value area level? Really, the area of interest for me on this is going to be really what I'm looking for is a retracement into this golden pocket or 786 before potentially rolling back over to the downside based off of some of the higher time frames, right? Fresh 3-day red dot, etc. But those kind of the next steps I'm expecting out of Cardano. And I would look for that daily bull div to print on Cardano to get that next move into the range. So there you go. There's Cardano. That's what we're looking at. Let's see. Yes, sir. Okay, yeah, there we go. Tony, clip that little divergence explanation. Maybe we can make it a short. Let's get it. All right, let's see. Shout out to Hang on. Servando Estrada. What is going on, bro? Good to see you. Welcome back. You might have been here, but I don't know. It feels like epic to say welcome back. But what's going on, bro? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Let's see. Dave Digital said, I hope Frankie can find his shorts. He's always looking for them. Good luck, Frankie. It's a good thing I don't stand up on the live stream, Dave. It's a good thing I don't stand up. It would be an interesting stream. Shout out to the Godfather. What is going on, bro? Show some respect to the Godfather in chat, guys. Let's get it. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Shout out to Mike Fernandez says, the pump back there is not real. Shout out. He got it. He got the joke. All right, let's see. Crypto 101, shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you back. Crimson said, I like to open shorts. Let's go. Okay, let's continue on here. Stand up, hashtag shorts. Shout out to Dave. Shout out to Servando Estrada. I love you back, bro. He says he loves the channel. Well, I love you, Fernando. Why'd I say Fernando? Servando. Servando? Let me know how you actually say your name phonetically. Because I feel like I'm butchering it. But guys, let's go ahead and continue on to ARB. We have not looked at ARB in quite some time. And this thing has been getting brutalized ever since it essentially launched. But let's see here. Yeah, we have not looked at this. I wish there was a way to kind of tell when the last. I guess, yeah, probably haven't looked at this probably since July. But let's go ahead and start nice and fresh and do some fresh analysis here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull our range here, local range. What happens if I include this giant candle? Okay. So this is, this is what I would be looking for. Let's see. Shout out to Tony Tony Rosas. Shout out to you, bro. He said, yes, sir. Make that divergent short, sir. Let's go, Frankie. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you for being here. Yeah, my R bags are crying. Yeah. This thing's been getting absolutely decimated. Well, here's a decent sign. I'm here to save the day. Frankie Candles is here to actually probably dump on people's dreams more than I give you guys light. Just because not only do I give you when things are going to go up, I also let you know when they're going to go down. So that probably hurts a lot of people, even though we make money from it. Like, we make money from when stuff goes down because we can short it. But a lot of people just want to hear up, and I'm sure I probably tell people things are going down, especially because I started my channel in a bear market. So I've literally been telling people things are going to go down since I started the channel. Wait until the bull market, though. Frankie the Bull will come out. Don't you worry. You guys haven't even met Frankie the Bull. But anyway, let's continue on here. I actually do want to pull this. Let me actually pull this to the breakdown. There we go. Okay, so this is these are kind of the levels that I would be looking for, right? Essentially, you have a massive bullish divergence on your daily as you've deviated below your value area, right? Fair price for Arbitrum, right? You dip the fair price, you get sucked back in towards the POC. You come up to the high, back to the POC. We're sucked now decisively below that range. If you confirm this bull div on the daily, you also potentially have it looking to print on the 2-day. Not as saucy, though. 16-hour bull div is printing. 16-hour bull div is printing. That is, there you go. This might be able to give you some kind of a move up, but I would be careful because this thing has simply just been, this has simply just been getting just sucker punched on the floor. Like this guy's just getting kicked while it's down. However, bull div on the 16-hour, bull div on the daily. If you are going to get a significant bounce in here, there is no better time to have it come in than now, right, with a daily bull div. Now, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to play out. However, if you pull up your visible range, kind of hard to say here just because, yeah, there we go. Okay, so just keep in mind here, look at your volume. You have a pretty significant gap from here all the way to here, right? You have high volume node, high-ish volume node, big gap. So we're actually, So if you're able to get, I would say, above 80 cents, this is likely where you'll see somewhat of a quick move up to about 83 cents. And if you can get above that, you're likely going to get a pretty strong move up back to 90 cents. And the reason for that is mostly because of this volume gap. Like, where is the high volume nodes? Price likes to naturally stick to the high volume nodes. The high volume nodes act as magnets. You will notice when you have a high volume node, price sticks there, right? So, I mean, right now we don't have much price action here to go off of, but if you get above this high volume node, you're likely going to shoot through the gap right here, right? Pretty big gap. You're likely to shoot through the gap and hit on your next high volume node, which is right here. What happened to price last time it was at this high volume node? Well, price stuck to it, right? It acts as a magnet. So I would expect potentially, I'm going to actually put some levels here right on that shelf, right here and right here. If you could get above 80 cents, essentially, I mean, I would even call it not even 80. I mean, the real level, in my opinion, is probably 79.5 cents. If you could get above this area, this is where you have the low volume. You could get a quick move back up to 88 to 90 cents. And if you get up there, that is where, and I'm going to go local here so we can get a better idea of what's going on. But that's kind of what I would look for, because you have a pretty low volume gap there. You can even see it on these big blocks, right? You can see it's like just kind of like a missing tooth. But let's come down to a lower time frame. And actually, let me pull back up the VPVR real quick and then go down to the 4 hour, right? So what do we have here? This is a volume profile. Look at that. Now you can much more clearly see the volume. Let's pull the range. Boom. Right here. This is your previous range locally, right? And then you basically just nuked through this entire low volume gap. What happens in low volume gaps? Price gets quick moves down or quick moves up, right? We always talk about this. When you get a quick move down like this and you have a big gap in volume. Now, I understand we have a high volume node here, a little spike right here. You could get turbulence on those kind of not high volume nodes, but those volume nodes. You can get turbulence there. However, if you get above this level, probably going to be a pretty quick shot up to about, again, 83 cents, where you have that next technical high volume node. And what happened to price when we came down? Pretty quick move down, and where did we get a little bounce? Right off that 83 cent level, right? And then once you lost it, you have this absolute goose egg. What happened once you broke into this goose egg, right? Let me circle where this goose egg is, right? I'm gonna regret this, I know, but I'm just gonna do it anyway because I care about teaching more than inappropriate jokes. That's debatable. Anyway, no, I'm kidding, guys. But look at this goose egg. What happens once you break that line? Boom. Price absolutely tanks because the low volume node is right here. The volume gap is right here. So as soon as you enter that low volume gap, like I'll put a level here, right? This is your high volume node. Gap starts here. Where's price start absolutely free falling? Right within that gap. So you could expect the same thing. This is a key level at 79 cents. Because if you get above 79 cents, you might see the same thing to the upside, a quick move. Then you might get a little bit of turbulence here, but if you can get above that high volume node, you may be able to fill the rest of this kind of choppy gap back up to test this level, which is the value area low of the local range. And then obviously, if you can get above that, you could look to come to the value area high, which is also where your next high volume node is, right? So that's kind of the trajectory I would be looking for on Arbitrum. And this daily bull div, no guarantees, but the daily bull div, the 16-hour bull div, and the 12-hour bull div are, pretty decent catalysts to start one of those moves. Now, again, this is somewhat of a exaggerated divergence, right? You see how these are kind of more like equal lows rather than a higher low, which is what you want for a bull div. However, the daily simply, if you do print this, I don't know if you're guaranteed going to print this, but the daily bull div is definitely still there. It could get invalidated, but if we confirm all this stuff, remember, you have to confirm it. If you confirm it, that's kind of what I would look for on Arbitrum, right? Low volume gap. I'll even label it. What am I doing? There we go. Zoom in. Bada boom. I mean, you kind of have two low volume gaps. LVG, right? You got one here and one here. So, again, you get back above here. Let's go down to the 4 hour, break it down more clearly, right? Get above here. Quick move. Little turbulence, quick move. That's kind of what I would expect out of this Arbitrum thing. Shout out to Arbitrum. But guys, I think that is all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Guys, we are actually on time tonight. I think for the first time ever in history. This is the first time we've ever been on time for anything. Let's see. Did we get 550 likes? If we did, I have to spin the wheel 10 times. Oh, no, we didn't. We only got 405. Oh, no. That is not good. Is Creighton, what is going on with the likes? We're gonna have to do something here. 400 likes. If we get 500 by the time I'm done spinning the wheel, which is only 4 spins, so it's gonna have to be a quick like button smash. If we hit 500 by the time I'm done spinning the wheel, I will still spin it 10 times. But 550 was the real like goal, but I don't know if we're gonna hit it. But here we go. Let's just go ahead and spin that dang wheel. Yo, shout out to the Godfather said, thanks, Frankie. No pants, no hands. Yo, what is with the tomato? I need to know what the tomato is. Let's see. Creighton said he was an hour late. That makes sense. It's okay, Creighton. It's okay. You're never late. So we have to accept it. Let's see. I forgot to like, but I did now. 419 likes. Spin number 2. Let's see. Are my threats of a spray bottle motivating you to stay on time? Tyler, I don't know how much the threats of the spray bottle have affected me, but I will say Mrs. Candles did ask me why I was tossing and turning in my sleep last night, going like this. Tyler. No, Tyler, stop. You know I hate. No, stop. She said I was doing that. I don't know if that has to do anything to do with the spray bottle, but hey, maybe. And look at that. Just coincidentally, we're actually ending on time. You might actually done something there, Tyler. Shout out to Tyler Durden. All right, here we go. 432 likes. We were so close. We got the last spin here, but we're 3 for 3 on the giveaways. Can we go 4 for 4? Jay Long said, watch out for the Frankie Fakeout. Frankie Fakeout? I don't know what you're talking about, Jay. Shout out to you, bro. Let's see. She is Mrs. Candles because she stays here late with us, so she's always missing him. Shout out to my hero and Mrs. Candles. Let's see. Creighton said, point at the doll where Tyler touched you. It wasn't him. It was the water. It's where the water touched me. Anyway, guys, I think that's all the time we got for today's live stream. Mods, we got 4 out of 4 giveaways. Can't hate on that. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the CandleMafia. As you guys know, I always rig that wheel in your favor because I like giving stuff away. It's actually true. It's like one of my favorite things to do is to give away stuff. So with all that being said, let's see. Tampa Bay says, shout out to Tampa Bay Buckeye. Says Frankie's favorite cereal, Frankenberry. Shout out to you, bro. I do like Frankenberry. That is for sure. But guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. Don't forget, watch for that retracement to the downside before potentially putting in a higher low. And remember, if we break that 786 on Bitcoin, that's where I start to worry about those lower moves to the downside. But until we break that 786, we do have an opportunity to put in a higher low and continue back up to our target to get rejected from, or our first target where we'll be looking for a rejection, which you'll have to scrub back and find that level because I don't want to give you the wrong level off the top of my head. And with all that being said, guys, I will see you all here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for spending your time with us here to do 2 full hours of TA. And I don't mean 2 hours and 20 minutes. I just mean 2 hours of TA with your boy Frankie Candles and the rest of the Candle Mafia. You guys are the absolute best community on YouTube. I'm grateful for every single one of you guys. I don't just say that because I'm on camera. I say it because I mean it from the bottom of my heart. So I'm looking directly at you, and I don't know who else I would be looking at. But with all that being said, guys, I'll see you here, same place, same time, tomorrow night, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy Deezy. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot. Wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same.
Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous.
Ay, please don't play no games with me, I promise I'm too much. Ay, I can never let up even if you had enough. Ay, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat in submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk like the show. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same.
Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous. Cause it can get dangerous.
No, I just can't believe I just can't believe that they spam the hands. You sent them that picture? This is why I love the Mafia. This is why I love them. This is why they're the best community. It's like they spam hand emojis because it's funny. These are my people. I love them. Shout out to Dave Digital. I do indeed say I love the Mafia when the candle's off. When the camera's off. Shout out to Dave Digital. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I don't really have much of a plan for this Frankie Fakeout. But there you go. Proof that I say I love the Mafia when the camera's off. And hey, I didn't even know the camera was on, guys. You know that this all happens by accident. These Frankie Fakeouts are not my choice. It's due to faulty equipment. So I didn't know the camera was on there. I'm just kidding, guys. That's all the time I got. I don't know. There's the... Let's go. There's the Mrs. Candle's hands. Let's go. Shout out to you guys. I really do love each and every single one of you. Mrs. Candle's hand in chat right now. If you love the Mafia, not if you love me. If you love the Mafia and you got a green name, spam those Mrs. Candle's hands. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys here, same place, same time, tomorrow night, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy Deezy. That's all I got. Frankie Candle's out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know, on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out,